seduction, sex, lifestyle. For the true player at heart, Global SLR presents the real kings of pickup. Vince Hollywood Kelvin and Arash motherfucking Dibazar. Be the best and fuck the rest.
This is Vince Hollywood Kelvin, also known as Aphrodite's Prince. I'm super psyched. We have an epic, legendary call tonight with a dream lineup. With me, my spiritual brother, the Diamond Mine, Arash Dibazar, motherfucking Dibazar. I go through the entire lineup and then individually everybody will introduce themselves. We have with us also, thank you so much for staying up, brother, all the way from Germany. I think it's 4 a.m. there. How's that for dedication, gentlemen? The Dark Sorcerer, Frank White. And also with us, James Hyman, the Shaman, my original mentor for Inner Game. We've been working together for over 10, maybe even more years than that. And Kevin Gentry, the pimp and motivation force. So, gentlemen, thank you for all being present on this call. Last time we were all together was for the Mansion event, the Forbidding Teachings, and that was phenomenal. I'm still feeling it. I was talking with James this morning, and he said he was still feeling the impact. So we each take a minute to see where we're at, how we're doing. I want to really thank Frank White. Something amazing happened today. I had a film crew at my place. We were ready to film a new program. I had written down everything, and suddenly out of nowhere, I got 2 Christmas gifts. I had that experience as a musician years ago. You know, after writing hundreds of songs, suddenly one would come in one shot, and it felt so good inside. It felt like it was right. It was aligned with truth and so on. Suddenly came to me an entire program, priceless. It's out of this world. And I owe it to Frank White because it was Aphrodite that gave me that program, The 11 Laws of Lust. And the definition in the dictionary of lust is an intense desire for sex. And right after that came another program on the elements of extreme sex appeal from the most charismatic Hollywood celebrity ever. And both programs are done, and they came in one shot, all the titles, and I had to look back at some of the titles, and I just listening to what I said, and I was like, wow, it's priceless. It's going to take the guys to a whole new level. So that's what's happening for me. Thank you, Frank White. And I pass it to my spiritual brother, Arash Dibazar, motherfucking Dibazar, mindfuck too. And that was phenomenal last night, brother. How are you? I know you're at another level already today.
Yeah, I am. I have been coming to terms with my change today, and I'm allowing it to completely take over. And I've called my girlfriends, and I've told them that when they see me tonight, not to bother me, because I'm going to let this thing play out completely. So I'm ready to answer questions, and I'll pass it on.
Awesome, brother. Thank you. Frank White, how are you? 4 a.m. in Germany for you?
Yeah, brothers, I'm doing amazing. And honestly, staying up till 4 a.m. is is not that much of a problem for me because I barely go to sleep before 5 a.m., so that's not a problem at all. Well, what came through yesterday in the channeling with the goddess Fortuna had a deep impact on me. Extremely harmonizing, extremely, very, very kind energy. I've been carrying that with me the entire day, and I just can't come out of meditation, and there's so much coming through, so much being transferred, and I can only say that I'm looking forward to our next meeting in Las Vegas, and we're going to spend some time in the desert, and I'm really looking forward to call up a couple of spirits while you're all present, so we can really, really, have our minds blown again. And, the great thing about the desert will be that there will be almost no static, very, very few electronics, and, the manifestations are going to be so much clearer, so much more potent. And, I can't wait. I'm doing phenomenal. Okay. I'm going to pass it on to the next guy. I think Kevin, right?
All right. James Hyman, we were on the phone this morning. So,
yeah, man.
How are you, James?
So, I'm doing great. All I can say is, the weekend last month was it was really very impactful in my life. And I'm still kind of like integrating all that and feeling the thrust of energy of it. There's just been a lot of great things happening. I've been in the studio recording some new music that I've been really, excited about, and just the work I've been doing with people. It feels like we're, kind of just entering into a whole new period of energy coming through, information, light, knowledge. And I guess it felt great, to hang out with all these guys and do this work. It's just, it keeps playing itself out every day. It's great.
Amazing. And Kevin Gentry, how are you, brother?
Blessed, I can't complain. I'm actually sitting here and I'm taking in everybody else's answer. Normally I'm doing shit and this and that, but I'm thinking about Vegas and being away, not just in Vegas, but being in Nevada, like way off from the community and everything. And I'm thinking about evolution, and I'm thinking about I heard Arash was saying change, transformation. I tell people a lot of times that you have to go off into seclusion before you can come back to everybody that knows you renewed. So I'm feeling that, man. I'm ready to get started.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I think we're ready to take questions. If at some point there is an interruption in the questions, we'll just go through the same order and pass on some gold nuggets. We got about 40 minutes left till the end of the call. So callers, this is your chance. 5 legends here to help you tonight. 5 different respected fields, expert, the best of the best in all of the separate fields. What questions do you have, gentlemen?
Vince, it's Mitch. I got a question.
Yes, Mitch.
How's everybody doing? Thank you for your time. Okay, I had a few occasions where I thought I would have the opportunity to touch a girl, sexually. My question is, I was uncertain, and I don't want to make the mistake in touching her and her being offended, because you get in a lot of trouble for that. How can you tell, or how can you ask in a very powerful, alpha way, is it okay to touch her sexually?
Okay, Michelle, you got to break it down. You don't have to tell her necessarily, okay? Although I gave away the other day in Aphrodite's Prince, you probably didn't see it, the best way to chunk, to say, first, you announce that you say, oh, wow, if I knew you more, I would totally give you a hug right now. And then from there you go, actually, in a parallel reality, I would give you much more than a hug. And then you lower it and you go, well, but here's at least a little pat on the back. That, the moment you hear it, you put that into practice, I promise you, your issue will never be an issue anymore. And then you have the 4 goals of touch. The first one is pre-touch. You move your arms a little bit more and you get a little closer to her. Not in a way where you're trying to reach for her body. In a way where you are more animated. Now, the moment you do that, not right in her face or not too close to the boobs, but as you get closer, you'll notice that some girls, they lean in, some they stay still, and some they pull away a little bit. And then you already know the answer. You got to break it down. You got to break it down. You're thinking still too much like the average guy who's like not touching and being very sexual with her. So, of course, you're going to hesitate. What you got to do is to break it down. Okay? First, play a little more with the hand, and then you know that already. I think the issue here is genuinely, which is the same for everybody when we're learning something, is that you have new elements coming into play. You don't spend enough time practicing them, drilling them, and applying them. And then, of course, you carry too much of the baggage because that statement is not pickup. That statement is what every average guy will say. It's no longer you. You need to drop that. Leave it behind. The new formula is you close the gap by taking little steps in between. And those steps are so non-invasive, but they bring you closer that at no point somebody could say, oh, don't move your hands so much when you're talking. And if they say that, well, then they move your hands more when you're talking. All right, I'll pass it to Arash.
Well, the secret to Kino is simple. If it's a big deal, and if it seems like a big deal, it's a violation. If it's just happens to be what's happening, and, okay, let me give you an example. I come to shake your hand as a man, right? And I start looking at your hand, and I start making my eyes bigger, and you're like, what the hell is going on with this guy? And then I hesitate, and I slowly reach towards your hand. At some point, you're like, whoa, 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 you're going to pull your hand back. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm shaking your hand, dude. And you're like, but why are you so weird about it? What are you trying to do? So that's where guys go wrong when they touch a woman. They touch her, and they make such a big deal out of it internally and externally that it gets creepy even if it was a handshake between two guys. When I kino or touch a woman, it's a natural progression of my statements from my mouth, meaning she accepts what I say in the conversation, and what I'm saying is leading into me touching her. So what would be that example of that? If I look at her and I say, your neck looks so tasty, and the way that your hair falls. Now, they say I'm a vampire. I'm not a vampire. I'm saying this, but I'm watching her. Is she smiling? Is she looking at me like, don't you talk about my neck? And my words are about to be extended into my hands and into my mouth. As I'm talking to her, I start approaching her. And I can tell by the way she responds to my communication whether or not the physical act is going to be a violation or not. Because I'm not saying I'm going to kiss your neck, but I am talking, I'm not going to go from shaking her hands to suddenly kissing her neck. I have, but that's, again, it has a lot of micro calibration, micro pieces in there. So I would say if you're going to do something with her and you're going, man, I want to sexually touch her, you should check to see if your communication prior to that, what you're saying and what the conversation is about, if logically you stepped out of it and it wasn't you in the situation, from the outside, would it make sense that you were going to touch her physically? Or would it be like, whoa, that guy just touched her physically? If it's, whoa, that guy just touched her physically, I wouldn't go there yet until you're a lot more advanced. But if it looks like, yeah, that's right, because that's the right frame, right? That's the right frame in the picture. We get what's happening. If we just looked at it without any sound and we just looked at how you guys' body language was and how you were interacting, it would make sense for you to then, touch her hand or touch her neck or kiss her cheek or whatever. I would say that is the way to measure it. It's a difficult question to answer, but that is, I think, a good way to measure it. That's it for me.
We pass it to Frank. And at any point, if you guys, when we pass it to the next speaker, the speaker wants the next question, that's absolutely fine. So, Frank, you touch on that as well, or we take the next question?
Yeah, let's take the next question.
Okay, gentlemen.
Can I chime in and Vince? Can I just say one thing, not to throw y'all off too much?
Yeah. Okay. So we're shifting.
Let me leave something here. There's a lot to that, but you got to decide how bad do you want a life change. You got to decide that before you even get into a space when there's women all around. Decide who you are and who you want to be before you even go out. You know what I'm saying? I talk to y'all a lot about talking to women all day, all night, on the phone, text message, on emails, bing, 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 bing. You stay in the zone. It's like shooting a bunch of jump shots in the gym. And sooner or later, they're going to all start going in. You're going to be so smooth with everything. And then when you get in person, you're going to continue talking as you talk to them on the phone. And that's going to open them up. And I talked about myself touching women. Like, damn, baby, you don't want to stand that close to me. You too fine on me. I don't have no type of restraint. I'm serious. I don't have no filter of what's right and what's wrong. I might be into fucking you in the bathroom tonight. But I'm going to try to resist. So stand over there with your fine ass and don't look at me like that. Yeah, no, I'm going to bite your motherfucking lips off your face. Look, I'm going through something with myself. Look, just come over here. And, and it's open because I talked about it. I worked on it all day so swiftly with every girl in the email and everything, that it's like magic for it to happen. We'll talk about this more at the event, but Yeah, Vince, I'm sorry to mess y'all up, Frank. Go ahead.
That's awesome. Now, next question, and we're going to have Frank and James answer it. So, gentlemen, step up. I had to mute two of you guys. You can unmute yourself by pressing *6. So what question, even if the same person asks another question? Keep the flow rolling, gentlemen. Okay, so then we'll pass it to Frank, and then you pass it to James, and you guys, you have 3 minutes of your choice.
All right, so I'm supposed to answer the last question? Okay, well.
Anything you want.
Obviously
anything you want. We flow. We show the guys how to flow.
Well, what came to my mind when Mitchell asked the question was, I guess it all comes down to intuition, right? I mean, get in tune with or improve your internal communication. Have some sort of good communication with your own emotions, because they tell you much more than just your feelings at that point. If you have a good internal communication, you can also sense what goes on in other people. And that can be applied in many, many different ways. And I think knowing if a woman wants to be touched, wants to get closer to you, or if it's okay to touch her, can be sensed through a trained intuition as well. So I would just say improve that, work on that. And yeah, I mean, that applies to that's going to serve you with everything that you do. Internal communication, having done some internal work, is the key to success in every area of your life. It's the key to getting answers from the universe, for lack of a better term. Because what happens in meditation, and what I found, are like 3 stages. Right? And the first stage is you're going to feel the internal turmoil that you have. The different parts of your brain are not communicating very, very well. And that's going to change. And this chaos is going to turn into a smooth music, a nice melody. And then you get in tune and in touch with this, field of consciousness, which will give you insights beyond your wildest dreams. And it's going to also improve your intuition, and you're going to, feel things differently. You're going to feel things more clearly and better. And I think in any area of your life, whether pickup, sorcery, or whatever it might be, you can benefit from that. So that would be my recommendation. And I'll pass it on to James.
All right. I want to go back and kind of address, I think, Mitch's question about, the safety, in terms of touch and approaching women and looking for the nonverbal cues of, what's permissible, what's acceptable, and living in a I guess in a time where if touches can be misconstrued, then, like Mitch said, it can create, chaos in the sense of, no permission. And so my sense is I kind of, for myself and recommend to other people, it's like you kind of have to find a vehicle that's comfortable for you. So like if you're comfortable giving women massage, or, that would be a great place to I've always, in my sense started and where women will give you permission. Oh yeah, you can touch me. You can, massage my shoulders, massage my, in a way, it's a way of giving energy, receiving energy, but it's like it becomes a context in which permission is inherent in it. I even tell guys, like, keep them, get a massage table. You have women coming over your house, and that's a really incredible way to approach, touch. Is, come from a place of, and if you feel uncomfortable, go ahead and take a massage course and get comfortable with giving massage. It's a great way to, give women what they're really looking for without it seeming like, it's a come on, and it can be, a great entree into other stuff happening. In general, play with touch. Just touch them and take your hand away real quickly. See what happens. Watch the nonverbal. The main thing is to keep monitoring like going to the inner game, keep monitoring your own uptightness and contraction about touching. There's a approach avoidance, and just, kind of, again, you're working with energy. I mean, on one hand, it's touch, and the intention leading to, sexual energy and sexual touch. But a lot of times, if you're very open and receptive to feeling energy, you know, the energy itself is just transmitted through the touch. It's the intention that, you know, staying out of your head, like, well, you know, wanting to get something more than what you have. It's like playing with women. Women like to be touched if they feel comfortable with it. So somehow, you know, my sense is, you know, finding a vehicle to touch women where it's already comfortable for them, like just touching their shoulders or talking, watching, you know, if they pull away or their nonverbal reaction. And if you have an opportunity, you know, like sometimes I'll see a woman and she'll actually be massaging her neck, and I'll say, you know, can I massage your neck for you? And they're really open to that, you know, and, you know, let's give them a little bit of energy. But it's a good way to practice touching, so that touching isn't always a sexualized behavior. It's just a connection. It's a way of connecting. So it's a good thing to practice, just playing with it, you know, in a non-threatening way for your own boundaries to get loosened up.
Awesome, James. Awesome. Listeners, it's time to wake the fuck up. We're ready for your questions. You have a chance to get answers from all those masters. We don't depend on the questions. We can totally go and start to ask each other's question. I'll pitch in one last sentence for Mitchell. Guys, part of the problem is if you still live in a frame where you hope women want you to be touched, that's the wrong question. The question is, can they surrender to a moment with you? Most of them are not capable. They're not in tune with themselves enough. So watch the frames. Anytime you go back to asking and so on, you go back to being a pleaser, and it's very unattractive. Okay? That doesn't mean you just grab the woman. That means you test her to find the candidates that are more sexually free, open, in tune with their bodies, and not so stuck up. So would any one of you guys on the line like to ask a question? And if not, we'll start to ask each other's questions.
I got a question. This is Philly Will.
Yeah. How are you?
In reading, I'm great. Happy to be on the call with you guys. This is awesome. But I guess in doing some reading on psychology and things like that, you come across the concept of ego, and I guess super ego and also id. And I never really understood the concept. I'm wondering, I'd like to hear from you guys what you think about those concepts and what role they play in your lives.
Okay, not to state the sentence, because other people use it in a different way. I once heard, like, ego edging God out. Now, what is God? Infinite possibilities to me. This is my own definition. So, to me, I'm operating from the ego the moment I get stubborn and I think that there's no solution. I'm not remembering how infinite the universe is, and that there's always a way, there is a way. So when suddenly I start to contract and go like, oh, I cannot do anything, or I start to play the victim, that's my ego talking. That's not the force that activates, sustains, and creates life, because that force knows no boundary. So for me, for the longest time, I had a sense that it was like, you know, it's easy for other people. You go, that's just your ego. When people tell me that, they go, that's just your ego talking. I go, and where is that coming from? What you telling me right now? Is that coming from spirit? Is that pure spirit that's talking right now when you're saying that's just your ego? So that's just another way to inflict guilt on people, you know, and control people. But that's my own description. I pass it to Arash because I'm eager to hear what he has to say about that.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You know those people that talk about that? Before you listen to anything they say, go observe one of those imbeciles. Go watch them. And you realize that they have no idea what they're talking about. Any fool can talk about anything and make it sound intelligent. The idea of ego, id, and all that shit is complete garbage. And how do I know? I would like to see with my own eyeballs, in my own experience, one psychologist who can help one individual, and they themselves in their own lives demonstrate some level of mastery over their psyche, since they are a psychologist.
They are some of the most insane, stupid, ignorant people on the entire fucking planet. I wanted to be a psychologist until I met my old teacher, Manu. He asked me why. I said, because I want to learn about people. He said, you're in the wrong field, my friend. So he taught me a few things, and I came back to San Jose, and I was part of a college course. I was in college for 2 years. People don't know. In my psychology class, we had to do our final, and I did a presentation on the power of your mind and your imagination. And my teacher in the back of the room, at the end of it, started questioning me. And in the middle of it, I looked at him and I said, you are not interested in teaching. You're interested in making me wrong. Fuck you, fuck this class, and fuck psychology. That's how I quit college in that class. Then I proceeded to do that in 3 other classes. Your answer is simple. You yourself have no idea what you're talking about. Go take a look at the people who use that philosophy and watch them. Go look at them. Don't worry about what they write in the fucking book. Go look at them and tell me if they are demonstrating the type of existence you want. If it's not, throw it away, throw away the question, throw away the books. Because you have to look at the people who are doing it and ask them, are you doing something that I want to do and have? If not, don't worry about it. Listen, I can sit here and I swear to you, I can explain the ego in a way that will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. It will be better than any yoga you've ever fucking heard. But I'm not going to, because it's actually not relevant to your goals, to what you're doing, to living, to helping others. It is a sidetracked misdirection thrown into the society by people who want to enslave you. The moment someone says ego, run from them. Or look at them and say, okay, please demonstrate to me your non-ego self right now. And from that moment, I will then consider what you're saying. Because if you haven't achieved it, don't talk to me about it. That's like going to Vince and saying, teach me pickup. And he's like, I have never talked to a woman, but let me tell you all about the theory of pickup. It's not going to work, dude. The people that are talking about it have the biggest egos on the planet per their own definition of ego. So they need to shut the fuck up. And it's going to get you nowhere. A, Arash has the biggest ego out of every speaker on this call right now. B, Arash could give a fuck about his ego, so it makes him less ego than any other speaker on this call right now. C, Arash doesn't give a fuck about any of those fucking concepts because they have nothing to do with my goals, dreams, desires, and helping mankind. Stay away from it. I'm telling you, stay away from it. You're getting lost in a labyrinth of nonsense. It has nothing to do with getting women. It has nothing to do with getting money. It has nothing to do with fixing your mind. Zero to do with it. Zero. Stay away from that shit. It's just a curiosity. It's a nonsense. Nonsense. That's my answer.
We pass it to Frank. Hello, Frank.
Yeah. Well, the question I was asked reminds me of Carl Jung, I think, and that's actually where this comes from, this teaching of superego, lower ego, whatever it might be. Yeah. Well, here's what I found in my work and in my experiences. Once you do astral travel and do that often and come back into the physical body, you start to see how your thought process works, and you begin to realize that most of the thoughts that you have living in the physical body are basically an extension of your need for security and for survival. Okay, it's an extension of the survival process of the physical body, and you absolutely need that, and you should, as long as you live in the physical world, you should never diminish your own ego because it serves you well. What you do when you do what I do, which is sorcery, you have to actually get out of the ego perspective in order to affect a field of consciousness that connects everything. And from another perspective that is outside of the ego perspective, you affect things. Okay. Well, it's kind of like an in-between state. So I would say as long as you live in the physical body, in the physical world, never diminish your ego. Don't try to get rid of it. But if you, if you're doing sorcery or something like that, it's necessary to shift out of that ego perspective to work in the spiritual. That's basically my answer. And I'll pass it on to James, see what he has to say about that.
Hello, James. James Hyman, you still on call? I think you muted, James.
Okay.
You're back.
Interesting, because, I guess we all have a different take on it. In terms of the question, the id, the ego, and the superego, I kind of have to agree with Arash. That's kind of such a ancient, archaic kind of definition, and we're all kind of beyond that. I think when I kind of work with ego, it's like, there's a part of me that is talking to itself nonstop or, throughout the day. And most of it is about survival and, about taking care of business and, that kind of stuff. And that seems to me to be the aspect of ego that is just there peripherally observing and getting the job, the basic function of life down. The other part, where we're kind of in there trying to perfect ourselves, that part of us is trying to perfect things and achieve things and master the inner game and also the external game, because they're the harmonics of each other. I don't really bother with what's ego and what's not ego and, what's inflated and what's not inflated. I'm basically watching the feedback that I'm getting from my reality moment to moment, how I feel. That if I'm feeling connected and present and in the moment, I'm feeling relaxed and my body's relaxed and there's not a lot of chaos going on. And then when the chaos and disturbance comes in, to me, it's like, as long as I can catch myself, it's like if I go into a trance and I get caught up in it, then I'll get caught up by the anger. I'll get caught up by the frustration for a moment. But there's this self-monitoring awareness. I think it's most of us, we're pretty much operating out of that now, where there's some kind of awareness that's operating that sits back and goes, okay, I'm getting caught up in my own shit again, and pulls out. And so that's, I think, the resolution point between this question about what's ego and what's not ego. It's like, it doesn't really matter. It's just like monitoring yourself with awareness moment to moment. Am I in balance? Am I in harmony with my world? And if not, what do I need to adjust to bring myself back into harmony? Even if a lot of chaos and shit's happening, I can still be in harmony with it as long as I keep practicing being aware.
Thank you, James. Kevin.
Got it.
More on the ego, or we take the next question, Kevin?
No, I want to speak on everything. I love these questions tonight. I think that anybody who is bringing up ego to you, if you are trying to understand them, it will be as pointless as a lion trying to understand the gazelle or any. There must be predator and prey in the world. There must be people with huge egos like me that beat on my chest and don't give a fuck. I love when somebody mentions that's ego. Or my mom say this, pride is a sin, son. I love that kind of shit because I know I'm about to really set them on fire when I buy my next chain, when I get my next car. Why do you need so many cars? I got 5 businesses. Why do I need so many cars? Because I'm a rich nigga. That's how I like to do it. I like to hurt feelings all the time. You can't have weak people around you trying to understand you and you trying to understand them. If they're talking about ego and super ego, that means they are not on the path that you are on. That just means that they need to be ate the fuck up because you have killers out here, cooks, chefs, and you have food. That's it. You one or the other. You have pimps and you have hoes. That's it. There's no gray area. Everybody wanted to bring a confusion between God and man. I believe God gave us ego and pride and everything else. It's self-respect for your craft. You handling your business. You working on something to be good at something. You want to be great at something. You want to kill all competition and be better than everybody else. You want to show everybody, well, ego makes him score 60 points in the game. Yeah, but how about I want the Hall of Fame too? How about I want the scoring title for this year? How about I want the defensive title for this year? How about I want a legacy? How about at my funeral, I want people to still be talking about this game today? How about I want to embarrass you in front of your whole crowd so everybody knows that you ain't shit. You are lower than pond scum, lower than a pregnant ant, and you should have never got on the court with me. You should have never got on the field with me. You should have recognized that you were outmatched, outgunned, outflanked, outthought. Figuratively, spiritually, physically, psychology. You cannot add up. Period. You want to let people know that. That's why you go in and you let some bum ass bitch treat you like dirt. That's really only a 5. Are you kidding me? You just let that bitch as a 5. How dare you let that bitch make you feel some kind of way and tell you something about ego? How dare y'all, man? Y'all better think about it, man. I'm bigger than this. I'm more than this. I'm better than them. You know what I'm saying? I have a bitch of mine that always tell me, but you think the reason I don't take you around on my friends is because you look at them and you act as if you're better than the bitch I am. And I don't even only talk to you when you like that. I'm like this every day. When you don't see me, then I'm not, with my ego right there in front. I work for this ego. I pay for this shit. It's like a big mortgage. Now, I do believe having pride and ego and all that kind of confidence and you doing all talk and no walk, I do believe that's bullshit. Now, them the motherfuckers we should tell, your ego, son, you really ain't shit, so you need to put in your work. You know what I'm saying? You got to earn it. Pay your dues. And if you paid them dues, all of these motherfuckers will recognize that you are bigger than them. You are a king amongst men. So all of y'all shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and listen up because a man is talking. And then you beat on your motherfucking chest like you're right now because you know that you're the biggest man in the room. So you should have the biggest ego. You should have the most pride. You should have the most respect. I know I'm going over my time, Vince, so I'll give it up to the next person. I love this.
The new year is right around the corner. We know you want better and more at all levels. But let's face it, the odds are not in your favor. And let's be honest, unless you remedy with all you got, it would probably be the same old shit, different year. So time to truly change. As seen on CNN, This Is Life with Lisa Ling, The Seduction Game, also featured on Sky TV with comedian Carl Kierperson, The Moaning of Life. The most potent, popular, and best priced 7-day training on the planet. The Initiation. Total manhood makeover for total social and personal success. Las Vegas. January 16th to 22nd, 2017. Led by true legend, #1 pickup artist on the planet, Vince Hollywood Kelvin, and revolutionary philosopher and best seducer in the world, Arash Dibazar, and the best healers on the planet, such as shaman James Hyman and occult expert Frank White. Imagine 3 days in the depth of Nevada's desert, Alpha Camp, to strengthen your survival skills, tap into your true warrior nature, and arise spiritually to harness powers you didn't even know you had. With board breaking, firewalking, chakra clearing, NLP, hypnosis for total success programming, and the most hardcore step-by-step military-style training to masterfully and flawlessly attract and bed the women you always desired. Then relocation for the following 4 days to the city that never sleeps, where everything goes, Las Vegas, Nevada, for around-the-clock pickup from nightclubs to malls, streets, casinos, including a visit to an adult convention. Expect only the very best results, not only with women, but in all areas of your life. Fuck excuses. It's your life and the clock is ticking. Accepting applications and registration now by going to www.vegasinitiation.com or call our 24/7 hotline 1-323-309-3219. But hurry, we work with a sliding scale and rates are subject to increase. So stop sitting on your ass before you're drawn into the abyss of excuses and regrets. Act now. Women and your new life are ready for you. Vegas, baby. Vegas. See you in Sin City for the real success you have been craving your whole life.
Man, I want to fast forward to Las Vegas. Be with you guys and by the way, hearing everybody's answers, my spirit is on fire right now. So you know where it's coming from. You know where it's leading. It's like pure spirit and soul and guts and balls. Real quick before we take the last round of question, because I'm looking at the time. We have a time constraint with the recording to make sure we turn it into a podcast. I want to fast forward to Las Vegas because on January 16th to the 22nd, those gentlemen and I are going to be in Las Vegas for the program that was featured on CNN last year, known as The Initiation. Initiation 17, 3 days in the desert where Frank White is going to channel spirits with no distractions around, like he was explaining that James Hyman, chakra clearing, you name it. I get you to walk on fire, break boards. It's alpha camp. You tap into your own true masculinity like never before. And then we all relocate to Las Vegas for round-the-clock pickup with Kevin the Pimp, myself, and Arash. And we are doing everything, malls, street, and so on, non-stop, round-the-clock teaching. It's only once a year. It's the initiation. I've been doing it for 8 years. It was featured on Sky TV in Europe. It was featured on CNN in America. And this year, what's unique is that the 4 gentlemen that are with me on this call tonight are all going to be there. It's January 16th. You must do whatever you can to be there. It's a small group. Can you imagine the impact? You cannot imagine the impact. You cannot. You cannot. So contact me, message us to find out how you can be there. There's 3 levels of registration. If you want the whole package and come to the convention with us and have like the VIP tables and all the extra rituals and so on, and lodging all included, so you don't have to worry about your lodging. That's the top package. There's the medium package where we take care of some of those things, and then there's the basic package where you get the entire teaching, the whole 7 days, but you got to take care of your accommodations. Okay? So traveling to Vegas is the easiest city to travel to in the U.S. or from anywhere else in the world. And attendance is very limited. We take only a handful of guys, and we're already near maximum capacity of about 20 guys, 15, 20 guys, and that's what we take. So make it happen. Your life will never, ever, ever be the same. Never. It's a men's retreat, the greatest pickup extravaganza on the planet ever in Sin City. Meanwhile, whatever question comes up, I will be super brief, pass it to my colleagues again. We'll take one last round. Who wants to take the last question of the evening, gentlemen? Your chance. You one quiet crowd tonight. 19 callers.
Well, Vince, I'll take the next and last question then.
Awesome, Mitchell. Thanks for stepping up.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay. When I talk to some girls and they don't seem to be ready for the experience, a lot of times what I get is they just seem to look away or talk to each other and pretend I'm not there. My question is, I'm absolutely fine with that, and that's their loss. My question is, at what point do I just go about my business and go on to the next versus continuing the interaction?
Got it. All right, here's the answer. Okay, gentlemen, whatever women do, say around you, anything to have a more clarity, to make a better assessment of what's really going on. I want you, during the days to come, to find the most disgusting guy you've ever seen. Okay? If you can be extremely overweight, disgustingly dressed, and all that can be a total mess, a disaster. Okay? And then you imagine that the behavior you're witnessing from women comes from that guy. And you ask yourself, how much longer would you stay and talk to that guy? Okay? Because you want to know what is. So use that as a reference. I promise you, I had a guy with me live in LA. I was doing a one-on-one coaching session. And then suddenly I pointed a girl. We talked to her a little bit, and I go, now pause for a second. Imagine. And we looked around, and we saw a disgusting guy. And I say, imagine now that what you just witnessed, the answer, the content, the behavior, the body language, and everything came from this guy over there. What's your take on it? It was completely different. You're arising. Right now, you're kind of still in reactive mode. Their loss. It's still too reactive. You're going through the store, and you're quickly looking at items, and you only will pick the ones that are most to your liking. Do pick up the same. You know, whether it's T-shirts, old school, looking through CDs, or simply buying fruits. Pick one up. First, start by picking up the more interesting one. If you go and you have a whole stack of apples in front of you, you're not going to go for the tiny ones, the ones that already you can detect a spot just from the distance. Okay? You're going to reach first for the better ones. And as you do, you squeeze them a little bit, you smell them. If they don't smell good and so on, you put them back. So let's make some headways for you. to make sure that you come from full extent of the more solid frame of you just testing them. You're just testing them. And do not relate any of it towards you. You do not. What's probably coming in the way is that when you start to think, oh no, they do it that because of me, you probably get awkward, and then it makes it worse. But initially, their choice of response, do not. If she looks away, she's not ignoring you. You should rewrite the script. If a person is talking and the girl looks away, she's lacking the fucking balls to say, don't talk to me and leave. She's lacking the courtesy to say, you're very kind to talk to me, but I prefer not to. No. What does she do? She's acting like a child. Human beings, adults should not behave like that. If really she dislikes it, she says it and she bails. She doesn't have to be nasty about it. So it's all a reflection of their own struggle and social limitation. Sorry, that was longer than what I announced. I'll pass it to Arash. One last round, gentlemen.
I'll pass it along to the next person.
Frank?
Well, I really have nothing to say about this. I mean, I couldn't hardly give a better answer than you, so why try? Okay, I'll pass it on.
James, Kevin, how about we do this, gentlemen?
I can
urgently. I know,
yeah,
Kevin,
I can
you want to add something.
go ahead.
But how about that? You pass it, and you guys, you voice something of your choice for tonight, and then we wrap it up. We have about 5 minutes left.
Okay. Do I got time to answer it or no?
Yeah. Answer it,
yes.
And then the other three are gonna voice something of their choice.
Okay. I talked about this before at the last event. Fill your life up with stuff. Fill your life up with stuff. Fill your life up with a new business that you're starting. Always when you see women and you see guys and you out, be out about your business. Don't be out rubbernecking looking for hoes and, trying to catch up with a bitch wherever you can see them. You too busy for that bitch. So if I do stop what I'm doing, bitch, I'm taking a moment of my time to stop, and bless you with my time, bless you with my presence real quick, say something to you and, and it's going to have some type of value for you. It's not going to say that you look cute. It's going to, I'm something that's important that's going to, astound you with how smart I am and everything. And then you keep it moving. But also fill your life up with material things. Everybody hates that material shit is so shallow and that's ego and this and that. Man, be fresh. I'd rather be a fresh guy that they say who, is shallow and full of ego and pride and everything, and I have all the bitches, than to look like everybody else because I'm in a grunge fashion mode, and I don't have no bitches. I look poor and shit like that. That's just not me. So fill your life up, look important, be around doing important shit, and then when you get a chance to talk to a bitch, you talk to her about something important. Hey, look, baby, I got something I got to do. I got to run to the bank, or I got to run, to pick up this customer or whatever it is. But, I wanted to stop real quick and give you my card or whatever. What do you do? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'm a speaker. I actually help people do this, do that, and the third. Hey, but I got to go. I want your finance to call me. I'm taking you to dinner tonight. No, I got to go. And you get the fuck on. You too busy to really stop and really give them all of y'all attention like that. These bitches ain't worth that much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these bitches ain't graduated. They got bad credit. They got five and six kids. You understand what I'm saying? They just at the club faking like they ain't got all the responsibilities that one night. So don't act like you think all this shit is together and all y'all shit is fucked up, because it's not so. These bitches are a facade hiding behind a big titty Facebook bitch that's probably catfishing you, okay? This bitch is not, her shit is not all together. So you see this bitch, she looks like a dime, but she's really a 5, maybe a 3 1/4. You know what I'm saying? So don't treat the bitch like she's a 5. So I'm going to move on, though, because I don't want to take up everybody's time. But, man, invest in yourselves. That way the bitch will feel comfortable investing her time in you and investing her attention in you. And she will know the difference between you and every other man. Dig that. All right, man, go to the next guy.
All right, James, a gold nugget since you're laughing.
Okay, so basically what I would say, my parting shot for tonight is in terms of like filling your life up with creative expression, fill your life up with yourself. Be your dream. Live your dream every day. Get connected to yourself, what you're doing. If you're spending a lot of time picking up, that's what you're doing. That's your spiritual evolution right now, is getting out there and talk. But enjoy the process. Don't be outside of your own process. Be engaged in your own experience of your own life happening right now, because that's where the juice is. All right. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, James. What about you, Frank?
Well, what I want to say is basically, see, guys, if you have someone you admire, okay, people from history, pretty much every single one of them, of those great men who did something big, had some sort of connection to the spiritual. I'm not talking about religion here. They had actually spiritual guides, okay? So real strength, real power, and real influence always is rooted in the spiritual, okay? This is more important than you might think. Yeah, of course, physical life is important, but you're going to be much more effective in this world if you have some sort of spiritual connection, if you have spiritual guides and can communicate with them, okay? I'm going to give you guys, those who are in Vegas, I'm going to give you a glimpse into this world, okay? For some of you, it's probably going to be a bit spooky, but I don't care. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to blow your minds, and I'm going to show you what this world could actually look like to you, okay? I'm going to pass it on to whoever wants to.
Arash.
Okay. Yeah, I just hear, I hear the restrictions. I hear the insecurities. I hear the fears. I hear the doubts. And, you know, it's almost like everybody's trying to do something so that they don't have these things. You're trying to do A, B, C, D, so you have less doubt, less insecurity, less fear, less upset. And I think everyone's taking a by road, like you're going around the thing. There's a direct line to this thing. You just have to, at some point, and it's not going to happen because I said this, but come to Vegas and watch what I'm going to do. I might even do it for the Christmas event we're having. But you guys have to understand that you are dancing around power. You are outside of it, talking about it. You are philosophizing, psychologizing about power, blogging about power, debating about power. And as long as you stand on the periphery, you're not going to have power. Once you enter into power, you drop all that stuff, and it doesn't look the way it looks where you are right now. It's like you want permission. You want to know you're going to be okay, and you're not going to get any of that. You're not getting anywhere. The line to power is uncompromising. It is truth. It is fearless. It is no distractions, no fears. And I think once you achieve that, then your business and your pickup and your life will change. I really think that you guys are missing out. I mean, really missing out on life. Really missing out. It's sad because I can hear it in the voices. I can hear it in the questions. I can see it in the world around me, even in my women, of the desperation to just be able to truly express yourself and just be. The most basic fucking thing that every one of us is capable of has now become one of the biggest goals of life. No, it is the most basic thing to just be and just express yourself. And until you could do that, you haven't lived yet. We haven't heard your true voice yet. We don't know who you are. We don't know what you're capable of. And I don't think you're ever going to be satisfied with anything because you're constantly reaching and searching for the lost you, which has never been lost. So I can get deeper. I'm not going to. But you're going to be okay if you just stop this weird-ass mental chatter that you have going on, thinking that somehow by finding answer A, B, C, D, E, you're going to get rid of your problem. You're not. Your problem will continue to follow you, and you'll just have more and more mental mass and more bullshit that you've gathered around you. And what you need to do is just stop all that fucking nonsense. Like, just stop for just a second and ask yourself a basic question. Why are you having such a hard time just expressing who you are? Because until you do that, you're not anywhere. I don't care if you're 80 years old. You haven't grown up yet. Everybody should be able to express themselves completely and honestly and be able to take whatever the world brings their way. That's it. That is the truth. Then we know who you are. I don't think anybody has any real relationships around because people around are not expressing themselves. Okay? And I'm on this task of having real relationships with people. This is who I am, this is what I do, and that's what's up. And then we can figure it out. And I'll pass it along.
Gentlemen, 7 days, Las Vegas, January 16th, with the 5 of us. See you there. Thank you, everyone.
You've been listening to The Real Kings of Pickup with Vince Hollywood Kelvin and Arash motherfucking Dibazar. Brought to you by www.globalslr.com. Call live every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get your questions answered.
Just dial 701-801-1220.
Then enter 129-779-160.
Followed by the pound key.
To get your free pickup starters kit, go to www.seductioncoaching.com now. And remember, stay sexy.